David had seen me this morning and said he wanted to share something, and I don't know who's familiar with David. He's a very quiet guy, but when he speaks, he's got so much insight, and so I was encouraged that David had asked if he could share for a quick minute. So, by all means, David.
Just fair warning, after all the great feelings this earlier talk has invoked in everybody, I don't think this is something most people tend to not to want to hear, but I think now more than ever really needs to be said. The church is asleep. We're completely ignoring what's going on in the world, just how close the Lord's return is. I don't know if any of you have looked into it, but Matthew 24. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming, the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them and said, "Take heed that no one deceive you, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and the kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in various places. All these things are the beginnings of sorrows. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved, and the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come." Over the past 30 days, there have been 997 earthquakes of Category 4 or greater. There's been over 1,000 if you count the rest. There have been wars and rumors of wars down in Israel, Syria, Russia, Turkey, Israel. They're all on the very brink of nuclear war. There's famine and pestilence, and I don't even need to get started on everybody being offended. The Feast of Trumpets, which many believe is when the Lord will return. I'm not saying that's when it is going to happen. I could be wrong. We could all be wrong. But the Lord's return is imminent. Among other things, he said that the first sign would be the rebirth of Israel, the leaves returning to the olive tree, and that all of these things would come to pass before this generation has passed away. A biblical generation is 70 years. Israel was reborn 70 years ago. The time of the Lord's return is imminent. A lot of people don't want to face this. They don't want to acknowledge it. But we are called to warn people. I believe it's Ezekiel 38, that it speaks of the watchman on the wall. If he sees the army on the horizon coming and does nothing, if so much as a single person falls to the sword, he will be held accountable. We are meant to be the watchmen on the walls. The army's on the horizon. Will you sound the alarm?